Imagine a massive global logistics hub, right? Millions of packages moving every single second. Now, if you don't know what's in those boxes, where they're going, or who's actually allowed to open them, well, absolute chaos ensues. That is exactly what managing digital data is like without proper governance. So let's dive right into this. For your AB 900 exam, you really need to understand how Microsoft Purview acts as the ultimate air traffic controller for your data, securing and managing it across the entire Microsoft 365 ecosystem.
Here's the concept ladder we're going to climb today. We'll start with Microsoft Purview and governance, move into identifying risks, check out compliance tools, tackle SharePoint oversharing, and finally end up at Copilot data protection.
All right, Part 1, Microsoft Purview and governance. This is the foundational data protection layer you absolutely have to know for Microsoft 365 administration. Think about a secure corporate office building. You wouldn't just let anyone wander into the CEO's office or the server room, right? You'd use a centralized security badge system to control who goes where. In the digital world, Microsoft Purview is that unified security badge system. It technically discovers, classifies, and protects your data across emails, documents, and cloud apps. For the AB 900 exam, just remember that Purview is the centralized suite that unifies information protection, data governance, and risk management all into a single, easy-to-use portal.
So how does Purview actually find that sensitive data? Well, imagine a bouncer at a club. They could just look for anyone wearing a generic ID badge. That's kind of like regex or regular expression. It guesses based on patterns, like any 9-digit number that looks like a social security number. But as we all know, guessing causes false alarms. On the other hand, the bouncer could check a highly secure VIP guest list. That is exact data match, or EDM. EDM drastically cuts down on false positives because it literally only triggers when the content matches a specific, known value from a secure list that your organization actually provides.
Let's see how this plays out in a real-world workflow. First, the input. This is your HR department uploading a secure source file, like a CSV, full of actual employee ID numbers. Next is the process. Purview scans emails and documents, specifically hunting for those exact matches. And finally, the output. If an exact match is found, boom, it triggers your protection rules. Grasping this input, process, and output flow for EDM is an absolutely crucial technical concept for managing precise data loss prevention.
Okay, once we know what the data is, we've got to protect it. Think of sensitivity labels as bright red top secret stamps slammed onto physical manila folders. But in Microsoft 365, this digital stamp travels with the document literally everywhere it goes. These labels do three main things for us. They encrypt the file so only authorized groups can open it, they visually mark it with headers or watermarks, and they restrict actions, like stopping someone from printing it or sharing it externally. The big takeaway here is that this protection is embedded right into the file's metadata, whether it's floating in the cloud or downloaded to a random USB drive.
Next up is Data Lifecycle Management, or DLM. Now pay close attention because this is a classic AB 900 exam trap. You have got to know the difference between a label and a policy. Think of a retention label like a sticky note you slap onto an individual file, like a single contract, telling the system, hey, keep this for 5 years. A retention policy, though, is more like locking an entire filing cabinet. It applies broadly to a whole location, like an entire SharePoint site or all of your Teams messages, completely regardless of what individual files are inside. Just remember, labels apply to items, policies apply to locations. To visualize this lifecycle flow, just picture an HR filing system where documents are legally required to be shredded after exactly 7 years. The process starts with content creation. Then, a retention rule is applied. This might hold a document securely in the background, even if a user explicitly tries to delete it. Finally, the output is the automatic deletion of that data the second the time expires. This whole process reduces legal risk and saves storage space, which is the primary business outcome you need to understand.
Moving to Part 2, identifying risks and managing user actions. Now that we've actually secured and labeled our data, let's look at how administrators monitor and catch users who might be mishandling it.
Imagine a retail store. Good loss prevention doesn't just watch the front door, it watches the cashiers too. Insider threats are tricky because the user already has legitimate access. So insider risk management in Purview analyzes behavioral baselines and HR signals to flag weird anomalies. It's looking for things like mass file downloads, sharing sensitive data to personal email accounts, or logging in at totally abnormal hours. For instance, if someone submits a resignation notice to HR and then suddenly downloads 50 confidential files at 3 a.m., yeah, the system's going to flag that high-risk correlation immediately.
So, if insider risk management watches the behavior, data loss prevention, or DLP, watches the actual items leaving the building. Think of DLP as an airport baggage scanner. Honestly, nobody loves going through it, but it's totally essential. It inspects the content of your bags, meaning your emails and files, before they're allowed to leave the organization. DLP policies detect sensitive information, block unauthorized sharing, and audit the events. And what's really brilliant is that through Defender for Endpoint, DLP can even stop a user from copying confidential text to their local clipboard or pasting it into some unmanaged app.
Then we have communication compliance. This is kind of like having a corporate HR and legal team reviewing transcripts of workplace conversations. It actively scans emails, Teams messages, and even your Copilot chats using machine learning classifiers. What's it looking for? Specific policy violations like harassment, insider trading language, or unauthorized data leaks. For the AB 900 exam, keep in mind that this tool helps organizations maintain a safe, regulatory-compliant workplace by flagging inappropriate communications for human review.
And this brings us to how we piece all this risk data together. Activity Explorer. Picture a detective's evidence board with that red string connecting all the clues. That's what this is. It provides a forensic timeline of risky behavior. A file gets labeled, then maybe it's downloaded to a USB, and then it's shared externally. Rather than just looking at a bunch of isolated alerts, Activity Explorer gives admins a visual, chronological sequence of exactly what a user did with sensitive data. It makes incident investigation incredibly efficient.
All right, Section 3, Compliance and e-discovery tools. This is all about how organizations actually prove their regulatory adherence and gather digital evidence during legal audits.
Imagine a restaurant health inspector handing the owner a detailed checklist of everything they need to fix to pass an inspection, complete with a final grade. Well, Compliance Manager is exactly that, but for IT admins. It gives you an actionable compliance score that actually quantifies how well your organization meets major regulations like GDPR or HIPAA. It literally tells you exactly what improvement actions to take, like, hey, turn on audit logging or apply these DLP policies to raise your score and close those compliance gaps. Now, when legal issues inevitably arise, we use e-discovery, and you absolutely must differentiate the two editions for the exam. E-discovery Standard is your basic toolkit. It covers essential content search, export, and placing legal holds to prevent data from being deleted. E-discovery Premium, though, is the advanced legal suite. It adds full case management, deep analytics to find near-duplicate documents, and even redaction features. If the exam asks you about managing complex legal cases or reviewing massive sets of data, you're definitely looking for Premium.
So now let's introduce AI into the mix with Data Security Posture Management, or DSPM for AI. Think of this like a teacher monitoring a classroom to make sure students aren't sneaking internet-connected calculators into a test. DSPM monitors shadow AI usage. That's when employees use unapproved third-party generative AI apps that might accidentally leak corporate data. It gives you the visibility you need into how AI is interacting with your sensitive data, so you can enforce policies and ensure users aren't exposing confidential stuff to unauthorized AI tools.
Moving right along to Section 4, Preventing SharePoint Oversharing. We really need to look at the specific challenge of governing data access in these highly collaborative cloud environments.
Oversharing is basically like handing out the master key to your corporate building to every single employee and guest who walks through the front door. It happens when users grant way broader access to SharePoint content than they really intended to, like sharing a super confidential file with anyone with the link setting. To fight this, admins use Data Access Governance, or DAG reports. These reports expose high-risk sites with sensitive content that are shared excessively or maybe just lack proper labeling, giving you a clear roadmap to go in and revoke that guest access.
To take this up a notch, we have SharePoint Advanced Management, or SAM. This is a premium add-on that's required if you want to proactively lock down your environment. It gives admins the power to enforce restricted site access so only authorized devices can connect. It sends out inactivity alerts for stale, abandoned sites, and it literally forces site access reviews, meaning owners have to periodically confirm who actually still needs permissions. For the exam, just know that SAM is your advanced toolkit for granular access governance.
And finally, Section 5, Copilot Data Protection. We've arrived at the climax of our explainer today. How in the world does generative AI interact with all this governed data without totally breaking compliance?
The secret here lies in Microsoft Graph. Think of Graph as a highly secure, ultra-strict corporate librarian.
Here is the exact flow you need to memorize. First, the user submits a prompt. Next, the service, which is Microsoft Graph, performs a strict permission check using the user's secure token. All those admin controls, like the sensitivity labels and DLP policies we just learned about, they are enforced right here. Finally, the result is generated by Copilot. The key takeaway? Copilot does not bypass security. It routes absolutely everything through Graph's strict authorization. This brings us to the single biggest misconception, and honestly fear, that non-technical administrators have regarding AI deployment. You are going to hear this question constantly. Does Copilot see everything? Like, can it accidentally leak the CEO's private emails to a marketing intern?
The answer is an absolute definitive no. And here is the fundamental rule of Microsoft 365 that you must ingrain in your mind for the AB 900 exam. Copilot is only allowed to see what the user is already allowed to see. If a user doesn't have manual access to a specific SharePoint folder, Copilot cannot read it, it cannot summarize it, and it won't even know it exists on their behalf. It inherits the exact same access controls as the authenticated user. So here is a final thought to leave you with. Copilot itself is completely secure by design. But if it went live today in your organization, are your underlying data permissions truly ready?